When you're in your early 20s, you usually don't think much about money. I know I didn't, at least. But I would have liked to, hindsight's 2020. If I could go back, I would. But, definitely looking back now, I will definitely say there are a few, being generous, few financial mistakes that I made that I wish I understood earlier. So, in this video, I wanted to share some of the financial mistakes I made in my early 20s and what I learned from them. I'd probably start out, mistake one, not investing early. I'm sure I speak for everybody here that, if all of us could go back and start investing earlier, I think we all would. I didn't really, I guess back then, to be fair, I didn't know what investing was. I didn't understand what investing was, what it entailed. I didn't know how to do it. I guess I didn't know how to do it because I didn't do any research in it. But I think it kind of goes in a huge circle there. Didn't know what investing was, so I didn't know how to invest, so I didn't invest. Lifestyle spending, not so much an issue for me, but could be an issue for others. Just like over inflation, like I said, you have a part time job during high school, or maybe college. Maybe you went partying a lot more in your 20s. You went out clubbing, you went drinking, just having fun with friends. You went to concerts, or you traveled, or you just went out to eat a lot. I know me and my buddies, we would go out to eat a lot. We'd go play basketball or go play frisbee, and then we're out eating dinner together. So I mean, I guess it's nice, to kind of build those memories, but too much spending too early, not investing, don't have much money. And I think that kind of just kind of goes hand in hand with not tracking your spending. I mean, we're young. What are they? Young, dumb, and broke. It's just what you don't know, you don't know. So if you didn't know how to invest, you probably didn't really track your money. You didn't really see where your money's going. So I mean, you really didn't have that thought in your head. But I'd say a big lesson that I wish I can go back and tell my younger self is small spending habits compound just like our current investments do right now. But hindsight's 2020, guys. You can't really go back in time and change that. But if it was one thing I could change, it would definitely be um, spending money too easily. Try to restrict that and invest more overall. I would say mistake number two is spending too easily. Kind of goes with like lifestyle spending or overinflation. A lot of impulse purchases. I know when I was earlier in my 20s, I bought a old truck. I wanted a big lifted truck. I wanted to customize it, but I soon realized that that cost a lot of money. I think I spent 2 grand on wheels and tires alone for the truck. It was an '08 truck. It had like 160,000 miles on it already. When I got onto highway speeds, oh my God, when I was driving to school, that truck would shake like crazy. I was like, oh my God, this bitch is gonna fall apart on me in the middle of the highway. So I eventually sold that, and I bought a lease. I ended up buying my current car that I just recently paid off, but I bought a car that I shouldn't have bought, especially being in college. I didn't make much money, and I think this car was 30 grand at the time when I bought it. So I was leasing it. I think payments weren't that bad, thankfully. I think I was paying around $330 a month on the loan. And then when it came time for my lease to end, I decided, well, hey, I have equity in the car. It's actually worth more than my total purchase price at this time, because like used cars are kind of crazy right now. So I ended up fully paying, like taking a loan to pay off the car fully. I think it was last year around October, November. I actually finally finished paying off my car, so now I have um, no car loan, like no debt on a car, which is great. But I mean that's a little bit of my story. So I don't want to rant too much about me. But I would say one big thing there is I didn't need a $30,000 car when I was in college, and when I got my job outside of college, like I didn't need that um, high price of a car. So I guess if I can go back once again, go back and change something, I probably wouldn't buy a brand new car. I'd probably go look for a used vehicle. But just overall, like impulse buying, didn't need the car. Overinflating, my lifestyle. I didn't need that expensive of a car, and just overall, just like continuing to really not track spending. But mistake number three for me, I wasn't thinking long term, and I guess it really falls on if you don't know what investing is, how can you look towards the long term? But I think that really hit me during my last year of college. My my classmate was telling me, yeah, like you got to get into investing. You have to open up a Roth IRA and max that out. And at the time, I still really had no idea what investing was. I was like, what is a Roth IRA? And I'm over here questioning him, like, hey, like what is a Roth IRA? How do I invest? What is the maximum? What should I buy? And he's like, yo, like there's too many questions. Like I'm willing to help you, but like you have to do your own research. And that's what I like to include in all of my videos. Like, hey, I can tell you what to do. Although I'm not a financial advisor, I everything I say, take with a grain of salt. But like he said, I can tell you what to do, but you'll never fully learn, or you'll never like fully understand it unless you do your own research. So that's really when I started diving into it. Like, hey, how do I invest? Like, is investing only for rich people or successful people? Is it not for students? Like, what is a Roth IRA? What is a 401k account? What is a like normal brokerage account? How do I invest? Where do I put my money? Like, I have all these questions. So that's really when I started, diving deep into investing and planning for my future, my retirement, thinking of my financial goals. And I that's when it completely kind of opened my mind. Instead of living like paycheck to paycheck, I can learn to live a little more frugally, save my money, maybe not go out to eat as much or go out to party as much. Don't go buy impulse buys. Don't go buy the new phone that just came out, or oh, I need a new car. I've had this car for 2 years. New toys, new events. Going to events or going to vacations, it is okay if you can afford it, if you're not in debt, if you don't go crazy. Like just do like easy going vacations, like nothing crazy, especially when you're still building your nest egg up, honestly. So I would say don't let financial decisions lead you down a negative path. I think your future self will definitely thank you. And I will say mistake number four, what I wish I did earlier in my 20s. I think I wouldn't have waited until I was like quote unquote ready. Even when I started learning these, like what investing was, what these different accounts were, and how to do it, I was still a little on edge, especially during COVID time. I wasn't really comfortable putting money into something that I saw just kept going down. It just kept sinking, like the value of the stock market. And once again, hindsight 2020. I think anybody who is familiar with investing will tell you this. When the stock market is down, it's like a fire sale, guys. That is the time to buy, because a lot of people are scared, panicking, and they're selling off their investments or their stocks. That's the time to get it at a discount. But I still didn't know that portion of it yet when I was starting out. So during COVID, I don't know if I may have invested a little bit or not invested at all, but that was definitely what kept me so scared. I definitely had money to put into it, but seeing everybody panicking and seeing the stock market just plummet, I was terrified. So I didn't put nearly as much money as I should have. And then seeing the crazy growth that people were experiencing, after COVID, or as we were getting out of the pandemic, was ridiculous. I was like, holy shit, like why did I not invest during that time? Like I could have made crazy money, crazy returns on my investments. But I like I said, I was scared. I didn't know better back then, but now I know. So, during this, conflict with Iran, whether you're for it or against it, stock market dipped a little bit. So I saw that, and I saw that opportunity, and I put more money than I usually do into the market during that time. Not crazy amounts, maybe like a couple hundred, if that. I didn't really have thousands of dollars to put into it, but I kind of bought a little extra during the dip. So hopefully, when all this kind of clears out, whatever the situation kind of ends, or the end resolution to this war or conflict, I'm hoping, the market bounces back up and I make a little extra money. So keep that in mind, guys. Especially if you're in your younger 20s and you're scared of seeing a dip and afraid to invest during that time. That typically is the better time to invest. So keep that in mind. Like I said, as always, do your research. Don't take what I say for 100%. I could always be wrong, although I'm not. Just kidding. Um, Mistake number 5, and I think I'm going to wrap it up after that. Not learning about money sooner. Once again, I think this one's kind of a double-edged sword. Being younger, you don't really think about money like that unless you're brought up like that, unless your parents kind of um, put those like ideas in your head, or kind of teach you while you're younger, like to save your money when you get birthday money or Christmas money, or if you get an allowance, or if you get money for doing chores. But if they don't, I guess it's kind of hard to say, learn about money sooner if you're a kid, because kids don't care about money like that. They don't understand the importance of it. But I will say I would love to see financial education pushed more to our youth. Even college kids, I would say would only benefit them, or benefit a lot of them who are not very financially savvy, or didn't have, or had parents who kind of pushed that ideology on them. So I would really like to see financial education put into like K through 12, or on TV, maybe like during like a break in the news, have some sort of like financial education, like 2 minute or 3 minute tips on financial education for youth, or even for older people who maybe not have grown up with the internet or easily accessible information, where they didn't learn about that, or their parents didn't tell them, and it just kind of led on. Reading and learning, I would say I wish more books like that were pushed towards the younger, the youth. And then I think, just like I said, overall improving financial literacy, whether that's for adults like myself, people around my age, people who are older, people who are younger, definitely. Because, if younger people were told about money, they would start investing earlier, they would start taking money more seriously. I think our debt problem would go down, or like personal debt, like taking out car loans or taking out student loans, where they realize, like, hey, this is ridiculous money that you're going to have to pay back, that you could have done smarter, whether you save up your money and buy the car all at once, or you really sit and consider, hey, is school the right thing for me? Do I need this degree to do the job that I want to do, without taking out these crazy school loans? So it's a lot of overall just improving that. Like I said, overall, that improving that financial literacy all around, I think would only benefit America, the world, whoever is open to learning and open to changing their ways when it comes to money. And understanding money really changes how you approach life decisions. I think that is true 100%. So I'm wrapping it up here, guys. I think I'm done rambling for the night. I think, closing it out, the good news is that financial mistakes in your early 20s are incredibly common. I have yet to run into someone who hasn't made a mistake when it comes to money, especially when they're younger. Even when they're older, they've made crazy mistakes, investing mistakes, buying a business they shouldn't have, dumping money into a side project that didn't work. But I mean, ultimately, it is fixable. Like, you can turn it around. We're all in different situations. You may have more debt than me. I may have more debt than you. Whatever the case is, I think it's fixable. So the earlier you start learning about money, the more options you give yourself later in life. So with that, I'm ending it here, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, this is the lunch table. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.